When I was given an assignment of taking a deeper look into why 22 of my students are failing, I decided there needed to be some data included besides attendance, not doing homework, not doing retakes, not being engaged in their prerequisite skills, which should be assumed to be okay if they pass their prior courses to get here, right? So I like to take a look at education as a pie, quality education, split into 4 pieces. 25% student, 25% parent, 25% admin, 25% teacher. So how does that break down as a fair share, you may ask? Well, here's my breakdown. Students, I'm expecting them to come to class daily to learn, okay? Have their equipment, have their pens, papers, stuff, be willing to watch and kind of see what's going on. Ask questions or come for help if the topic's tough. In class, out of class. Take advantage of retakes now that we're all supposed to be offering that. Be willing to use websites for help outside of class. You know, teachers, we have websites, some better than others, but we all have them. Khan Academy, things like that. The world's at their fingertips. Do their homework. At least try something. Like in math, if I give you 15 problems, even if you do 5 or 6, it at least is helping to reinforce something. So do some homework. And then use study guides for quizzes and tests. And again, in other places, that may be a paper. It may not be a pencil and paper test like we have in math, but again, this is more my reality right now. So that's what I'm expecting out of my students. Okay, parents, be on Skyward. Do regular checks of your teens' grades to stay on top of things. Okay, email or call the teacher if there's an issue you see that isn't being addressed well. Talk with your teen daily about school. See how classes are going and stay on top of their homework, or if they're doing it or if they're not. And push their child to make good decisions if needed if they're not doing that on their own. Again, I don't think this is way out of line. The teacher. Okay? Teach topics in as many different ways necessary to try and make a topic stick. If it doesn't work the way you think it should, find something else and make it work that way. Have some extra help time before and or after school in case students are having issues, and to also be able to do the retakes that we're doing. Have extra practice available for struggling students. Now, I know in other classes that's tricky, but in math, have an extra worksheet or 2 available in case they need some extra practice. Have a website that's updated, okay, not from 2 years ago, but from this year, or report regularly to your parents. Click on Skyward, click email progress report, and let them know what's going on in your room, if there's a quiz or test coming up or what you're seeing going on. Answer parent concerns. Again, do that quickly in a timely manner. Keep your grade book updated so there's no surprises for students, parents, or you. And reflect on things that go wrong in class and find ways to get better when it's possible. Again, nothing too out of the ordinary. Admins, we need expectations for all parties, not just the teachers that are here. Parents need to be on Skyward. This isn't 1985. They need to be involved with what's going on in their kids' education, except when there's a problem, of course. They need to be involved even when there isn't one. Students behaving in class. That's not just a issue of the teacher. I'll get to more a little bit on that later. And teachers needing to and have uphold expectations. You know, teachers need to have their skin in the game too on this and not just kind of let kids get by because it's easy. Seems simple enough, right? I can't speak for others, but here's my reality. Here's what I see, at least within my classroom and with my students. My breakdown right now is about 70% teacher, 15% student, 10% admin, and 5% parent. And here's where that comes from. Okay, remember those lists from earlier? I'm going to pop them back up and kind of discuss what I see. Okay, the teacher. Try different ways to present material. Personally, I research topics and look for the best way to make connections. I then make videos of those lessons and have them available on my website, huskiesmath.edublogs.org, which can be seen through the Skyward accounts. Edline, and my YouTube page, Harty Math, where I have 600 videos and 50,000 hits. For difficult topics, I make help sheets to guide students so they can have some extra practice. Okay? Help time. I'm available Monday, Wednesday, and Friday before school starting at 7:45 and after school Tuesday and Thursday until 4:30. Extra sheets available for studying in any area, especially if it's in preparation for a retake. I have those. Okay, have a website updated so parents can quickly and easily get info. My website has calendars of daily events we do in class from the beginning of the year up till now, links to completed notes, assignments, and videos of lessons, including reviews for all quizzes and tests. I also send out weekly Skyward emails with updates on what we're doing in class and what issues I'm seeing. Parent concerns, I answer the same day, always. Gradebook up to date. Again, unless I have 140 quizzes that day, It might not be that day. At worst, it's going to be 2 days. Reflect on things that go wrong. Every test and quiz, I do this, but here's the kicker. I'll occasionally see a way I taught something that could have been better, but many times I see what I'm about to share with you, which totally frustrates me as a teacher. Okay, before we get to students, I won't back up here. I'm just going to talk for a quick second. The definition in the dictionary of a teacher, a person who teaches or instructs. This really is a small percentage of my job anymore. I spend more time writing and rewriting curriculum and tests based on the key word of the day, power standard, state standard, curriculum mapping, Common Core, than I do coming up with better ways to teach and reach my kids. I'm unusual as a teacher in that I was fortunate enough when I was single to get most of my websites set up and running now, so I have it. If I was married with a family then, I wouldn't have done all this on my own time. This is the type of thing we need to be doing to improve communication and teamwork with families. The United States has thrived for 200 plus years using this educational system, and we allow some random standardized test around the world to determine what we do now. Let the teacher teach. Okay, moving on. Students. Come to class ready daily to learn. I have students that won't even pick up the note sheet for the day or write anything down. They're more interested in Facebook and Twitter than they are in being educated. In my reality, when they're ready to learn, I'll be there to help them, and I let them know this. I'm not an entertainer. I'm not their mommy and daddy. I'm their teacher. I'm a champion of theirs by having some expectations and giving them the tools to reach those expectations, not by telling them they have to come for extra help or begging them to take a retake. When you force your priorities on others, it isn't a permanent change. Ask any 12-step program leader. I take their phone, they throw a fit and refuse to give it to me. I write them up and I'm told that's a classroom management issue. So taking time away from my kids who want to learn to discipline kids who have no desire to learn is a good use of my teaching time? Taking my prep periods to call parents over and over about this is a good use of teacher time? I don't think so. Kids, asking questions or coming for help if a topic's tough. I have 5 times a week in a website that has help 24/7, 365. Out of my 22 Fs, I have exactly 2 students who've come in for help. Again, how badly do you want to graduate, I must ask at this point. Take advantage of retakes. 1 retake from my students who are failing, and yes, I make a plea after each and every quiz and test to please get that process started by simply filling out the retake form with your name, hour, and which quiz it is, and placing it in the tray. Won't do it. Be willing to use the teacher resources available. This doesn't happen either. I watch my hit numbers on my YouTube page to see how often it's being used. Kids tell me they don't have time or can't learn that way, but they can learn with me doing the exact same thing live in front of them. That's called an excuse for not wanting to use their own time. I will help or give the tools, but blank and IDK doesn't get it done. Show me some effort. Do your homework. Of the 22 failures I have, I am missing 93% of the homework checks, as in they did nothing. How do you expect to get better at anything if you don't use the tools, don't use the notes, don't use the practice time I give you in class, and don't practice anytime? Okay, use study guides to get ready for quizzes and tests. The study guides I give look exactly like the quizzes, and we go over them together in class the day before. Can you say, hand it to you on a silver platter? Parents. Be on Skyward and do regular checks of your teens' grades. Over half my parents of teens failing have been on Skyward 2 times, if that, since the start of the year. That's not caring about your teens' education. I don't want to hear that they don't have internet. Comcast has Internet Essentials for $10 per month on every place on Earth seems to have Wi-Fi now. Go to a neighbor's house, go to a relative's, and check on it once a week. It's not that much to ask. Contact the teacher. When you only check grades quarterly at semester via mail when you get it, it's hard to do this. Be a parent. Keep up. It isn't the teacher's sole job to wipe your kid's rear end and keep up with all this stuff. Talk with your teen daily about school. Again, ask your teacher if your teen always says they have no homework, because more than likely that's a lie. And again, push your child to make good decisions if needed. Parents think we are the parent and will do all this for them. Quick story here from this year. I had a student gone the entire week at conferences. Parent asked for work. We did a review, took a test, and went over it that week. He already had the review, so I just emailed a link of the review online and mentioned he would have a test to make up. Parent sends an email to all teachers 2 weeks later, mad more work wasn't sent down. I send materials down then for her son, who still hasn't gone to counseling to pick that up or done any of the work that I even did send for him before. A week later, I get the packet back in my class because she never came to get it. By the way, she's looked at Skyward 0 times this year, but these will be the same parents on a survey that say they care about their child's education. Summary: many parents in this case are not doing their job, but do they even realize they have a part in the process? Because administration, have expectations of all parties. This is besides just the teachers. When a parent calls and is griping, ask if they've actually talked to the teacher. Don't automatically send me an email that a call needs to be made to the parent or that work needs to be put together because it never happened. Get the whole story. Okay, parents on Skyward. If they aren't on Skyward, let them know that's an expectation for them to be able to stay in the loop and that their parent, and that the teacher isn't going to call them once a week. It's not my job. This is not 1985. Students behaving in class. We need them to behave to have a good learning environment. When they aren't doing what they need to be doing for a good working environment, get them straight with the parent or kick them out. Don't make me jump through 6 hoops before anything gets done. We've got a lot to do as well besides just calling parents, talking, giving them a detention, talking to the counselor, sending it down, sending it back. If the behavioral rubric isn't working, let's talk about making a new one. And again, teachers need to do what they do. They've got a part in this too. If you have a handful of teachers that aren't doing their job, doing what they need to do, having low expectations and just letting kids get by, quit making my life more difficult because they aren't doing their job. When students are getting A, B's all semester and then failing the final exam almost exclusively semester after semester, something doesn't add up to me, yet it keeps happening. Does that seem a little odd to you? My conclusion is this, after going through what I did with my students and looking at some things. Until we decide as a community that education is important as athletics, having jobs, social media, and all this other stuff that's going on, nothing is going to change. Common Core won't do it, SLOs won't do it. If you have 4 parts to a wheel and 1 or 2 parts go bad, the whole vehicle breaks down, and that is my reality. Until there are clear expectations for all, nothing will change. Thank you for listening.